Hi there, my name is Madi and this is my YouTube channel all about knitting and making, and I'm really out of practice. It's been a long chunk of time since I recorded last. I believe this is episode 54. It is January 2026, so Happy New Year. Whew, we've had a great end of year, so a great December. We had soccer trips for Jake. We had a 22nd-year-old birthday party, not a party, just us, with Gabe. We got to visit a yarn shop and fabric store in Utah during the soccer games. Gabe and his girlfriend Tess were here for Christmas, which was awesome. We got to go to the mountains to ski in Crested Butte. There was not very much snow, but it was still quite beautiful. And we also got some viruses. So I feel like we're at the end. Maybe we see the light. Ian was home yesterday too, but he is at school today. I have my water and my coffee in case I need to take a sip because I am still coughing. But I am glad to be talking with you guys, and it has definitely been a long time, and per usual, it takes me a bit of time to get into the flow of chatting. I have been mostly working on test knits, and so what I decided is I won't really chat about them until they're released. And so I haven't worked on a ton of stuff as we all get crazy busy and having a good time for the holiday. Sometimes there's a little room left for making, but I will show you what I have been working on. I'm going to keep looking down because I have my notes. Otherwise, I would never know what I wanted to say. All right, the first announcement is that I can never be held accountable to hold a knit along by myself. And so I did write an announcement on my Ravelry thread. So for those who participated in the beautiful Estelle sock knit along, the pattern by Virginia Sattler Reimer, I was so inspired to knit these, and this is as far as I got on my knit along. So I have had beautiful socks shared on Ravelry, and I did make sure I respond to you guys, and please reach out to me. Go check that out if you participated and knit these socks, and we'll connect. But the intention of this knit along was to kick off my Woolly Thistle affiliate link, as this yarn is the Woolly Thistle's Rambler sock yarn, and I do adore the yarn. I am very distracted by all of the amazing patterns out there, and so I did not get my knit along done. But I did want to make sure that anyone who participated went over and read the Ravelry thread and then email me from there. Okay, let's see. What I did finish is my Woolens and Nosh 2025 Advent socks. Pacific Northwest inspired art here on this awesome bag. I did knit from the bag the whole time, and I finished the socks for Donnie. He has not been allowed to wear them yet, but I will give them to him today after this episode. And since they're for Donnie, I did do 72 stitch cast on. I used a US 1 for him because for my own socks I prefer a US 0, but his feet are big, so I want to go a little faster than a US 0. So cast on 72 stitches with a German twisted cast on. I did 2x2 rib with a mini provided by Michelle of Woolens and Nosh, and the awesome Advent stripes. So in the future, I may do a longer leg for him. I went with the 12 days or 12 stripes for the leg, shadow wrap heel. I did use Earth Tones Girl Soxploration sock pattern. So it has the shadow wrap heel and it has this toe, which is the toe I used. So as you can see, these blues repeat again. So let's see, I believe this is 24, but he needs a little bit longer. So I went a little longer and added these. I did have him try it on. I actually usually have him try it on before I do the toe decreases because each sock seems to fit a little different, being that my gauge changes or the sock yarn itself is different. So I'm super happy to have finished these. I will gift these to him. I am still going to be receiving the monthly Woolens and Nosh club colors, and so I think I will keep knitting socks for Donnie using this pattern here if it works well for him. But I have a lot of socks, and he could use some more socks with this awesome base because this is his second pair with this base from Michelle. All right, so one finished object, giving those to Donnie today so he can put them on his big old feet. What I'm wearing and also finished is the Riggies Vest by Gudrun Johnston. I believe Riggies means garter, so a garter stitch. This vest is highly addictive because the options are endless. So I finished mine in, it is Jamieson's double knitting. So oftentimes I use Spindrift, which is the fingering weight. This one's DK. My color is Mirry Dancers, and I used a little bit more than 8 balls. So these balls are 25 grams. But I would say it's about 2 balls per panel. So you knit each. I have one panel here because I keep thinking of options. But this is a panel, and in my case, my panel was all in the Mirry Dancers. But here's one panel, so this is the neck, and then this was about 1 ball, and this was about 1 ball. So my thought for this one is I don't have much of the Shetland DK, Jamieson's DK. So I did order this awesome kit from Gudrun. Comes in a really fun tote bag that Maya, her daughter, is the artist for. And this is Shayla colorway. So I'm knitting it in Shayla, but I really wanted to have a little pop on this one. And so I already used this 1 ball I had. But I may, so you seam this panel to another panel. On the back, I may seam mine with this dark. But there's so many options. Gudrun just posted a picture that she drew a little sketch of what her plan for the next Riggies that she casts on, and there is a knit along that she will be hosting, but she even talked about doing stripes down this portion here. So many options, and you can seam with different pops of color. You can bind the armholes doing a different color since they're an I-cord bind off. Then there's a hem that you could do a different color, but the options are endless. I do want to see this on a traditional male body. I want to see what Donnie thinks of it. Yeah, but my mind just keeps going. So the other thought I had for Riggies was I was cleaning out my stash in my closet, and I am at a point where I would like to minimize my whips and my stash and really think, what are the things that I reach for all the time? Riggies, a lot of Alicia Plummer sweaters. I definitely have probably an aesthetic I prefer and I'm most comfortable in. So I was going through my stash and destashing some and frogging some things, but I thought Riggies would be really, really fun. And this is Le Garçon, British DK, as well as this. I have the label here. This other one is the Marl of Edith and Vincent, and then this one is Edith. So this one has this color in it, but 1 and 1 I thought would be really cool. Again, 25 gram balls, and these are 250 meters. They're 100 gram skeins. So it seems like you could do it. I will keep you posted. I definitely am gonna do this because I feel like that would be so fun. And I honestly want to wear this daily because we're at, even the inside of the house, it's like cool but not cold. So a long sleeve I'm kind of cool in, but then if I put this on, it feels really good. So I will be making more of this. And I'm very intrigued with this. This is drapier, so I'm also thinking there's an option to do a 5-stitch neck band versus this one is 10. So I was thinking maybe I would do the smaller neck band so there was less to drape here. Not sure if that's a good thought process or not, but I'm excited to try this. Okay, I'm gonna put a picture here because I realized I didn't bring it in this room. But I did finish, I think I showed you guys the heritage cardigan. I finished the button band and everything. But I wanted to point out what I learned is I love to block projects midway through. Like I want to block the neck and line and the yoke to feel how it feels when I put it on and see the drape. And rarely do I remeasure the gauge, but I should, or see how the colorwork blooms. So I blocked Riggies before I steeked it, so before I cut it, which that was fine. But what I didn't think about was the stitches bloom, and it made it really tricky to pick up for the ribbing because the stitches bloomed. So just an FYI, maybe prior to blocking, steek and pick up bands, because it's probably easier to see the stitches that you're picking up. At least that was my experience. So from now on, I will block after I pick up stitches for, say, ribbing or armholes, things like that. The last thing I finished, the last thing I finished was a hipster beanie by Sandnes garn versus there is a hipster beanie pattern by Petite Knits. This one is by Sandnes garn. Gabe, I'm going to post a picture here with him wearing a white version that he loves, and he left it at a basketball court. And so I quickly had this dark, I think it's ALPAKKA. I'll link everything below because it comes in a kit from Mother Knitter along with the pattern, because you can't knit Sandnes garn pattern without the yarn support and back and forth. So I will link that below, but I used the dark for the hat that he took with him to school because I didn't have any more of the white, but I will be ordering that for him as well because it is his absolute favorite beanie. He wears it every day, rain or shine, hot or cold, he wears it every day. All right. Phew, let me get a little water. It's snowy outside, but sunny, so it's kind of muddy and messy, and it's melting really fast, so I keep seeing the big drips in my peripheral. Okay, so what I have been working on, as I mentioned, I have this Riggies panel. I did start this another panel, so this is again the neckline. So you seam them this way, you seam them down the middle here. So this is where you could add a pop of color if you wanted. Gudrun has a step-by-step tutorial for this vest, which is so fun and generous of her because it takes a lot of time to record. But so initially I actually thought about doing stripes kind of in this section, but there are short rows here, so the stripes are tricky. So it is better if you decide to do any sort of stripes to do it in this section here. But I think at this point I'm gonna do the rest of it solid and possibly in the back use this for the seaming. The front and backs are identical, so you could switch it around, like if your back was different color or anything like that. Very, very fun. Very fun patterns, so many options. DK weight. All right, so I've been trying not to just cast on all the panels of Riggies, but I also worked on, for my New Year's cast on, I cast on these. This is the Fiber McGyver's Luffe Mittens, L-U-F-F-E. Let's see. Yes. And the mittens are so fun. So Fiber McGyver was having kits that she had set up to make these mittens. This is a superwash DK and a Surrey held double. I did look, there are still a lot of kits left. Susie put up together these awesome kits and she sent stitch markers. And in this bag was also a bit of beading cord, kind of the barber cord vibe, but just a bit. And at first I was like, oh, that's so sweet, I love that. And it was in this little package. And then as I got to the thumb, I was like, oh, I need a bit of that. And it was in here. So that was very thoughtful. I didn't even realize that I would be using it within this project. So I am at, so this portion of Surrey goes inside the stripe portion, kind of like muscle burrow. So it goes in here. I can't get over how fun this is. I've made mittens before, and I'm not gonna lie that sometimes the thumb gusset really annoys me and it's not that fun and it really takes some focus. But this thumb gusset is just increasing one stitch at a time each round, making it so easy and fits very nice. And then so this is the left mitten, and to have the insert fit in well, you do the right instructions for the insert. The Surrey held double is making a lovely fabric. Now, I confess that I could only find my US 3. It calls for a US 4. So I'm making the second to largest size, and it is a little snug, but since it's superwash, I'm thinking that's something I want. So as soon as I soak it, I think it might grow a bit, or as I wear it, it might grow a bit. So as of right now, it fits great. It is snug, but I think it'll end up working out well. These are so fun to make that I plan to make more. I think Donnie would love it. So as you can see it, right now it's kind of awkward to stuff it in there because I have the needles in there. But let's see if I can get the thumb in the right place, which is hard because I have a little cord on there. Yeah. So my thumb is not in the right place because I have the barber cord, but they're gonna be awesome. Yay. And again, they look kind of funny because I have the needles in there, so they would be a little longer up to the wrist. But they are awesome. I picture you could even use the doodle book or different motifs around here. I didn't do anything to the jogs and they don't look too bad at all. They're very fun and they're gonna be so warm. I'm gonna pull the inside back out because that's what I'm still working on. You could even, I feel like you could even like bind this off if you didn't want to deal with the thumb being put in here. There's so many options. And again, they are longer than what it looked like when I put them on, but the needle was kind of getting hung up inside. I've seen Susie put a Fiber McGyver. She had a different color here, so made this side a little longer, so this different pop of color kind of sat out of the mitten when it was turned in. They're so fun. I love making these. I feel like I made most of this mitten in one sitting, and then the same goes for this. I'm now at where I knit even for a bit on the palm of the hand, then the decreases, and just the thumb. So I need to cast on the second one right away so I don't get distracted and just knit something else. So you can see they're about the same size. Very, very fun, awesome kits by Susie. Let's see, what else can I tell you? That was a big sigh, sorry. Okay, I think that's it for now of those two things. I do have a little bit more on my simple beanie number 1 by Sweater Freak. I'm now at the top where I'm ready for decreases, which is great. I still have loads of this yarn, if it's buried under here. This is the Juliet yarn, and it's worsted weight, and there's still so much left. So I feel like one ball easily makes one hat. This is the second to the largest size too. And so, yeah, plenty in one ball. So you can get one fun color and just go for it. Let's see. All right, I think that's all I've been knitting on. Aside from those tests, which I'll go over when they're done and released. And I did have a few new podcasts to me that I would love to share. I love podcasts. I watched so many Vlogmases, and I found a few new podcasts to me, aside from all my favorites that I'm already watching. Let's see if I can find the right name. I'm afraid I'm going to say her first name wrong. It might be Dina, D-E-N-A, Santos. And her YouTube is Northwest Knitter 25. And I've loved it. I watched an episode and was so thrilled that I found it. It was great. I've also been watching Justine of Never Not Knitting Rhode Island. Her last episodes are kind of organizing her stash and going through her stash, which is so fun because I was actually in the middle of doing that myself. So then I was laughing as I could relate, as I had her video perched on my phone in the closet as I was going through all my stuff. I kind of was thinking differently about my stash recently. I have some great local folks I get to de-stash to, and some that I was able to send some yarn to. And I kind of, this time I felt like I've been through my stash before and I've de-stashed before. This time I kind of could see like a bundle of yarn, and instead of, you know, just kind of keeping it because I love it, or not keeping it because it's no longer the right color for me, I was on Ravelry looking up the yarn and kind of getting ideas like, oh, okay, I would make that, or no, I don't think I would use this yarn for a project in the future, things like that. So kind of rethinking of how many sweater quantities do I really want to keep? What could you possibly knit through in a year? Same for sock yarn, things like that. So that was an interesting way to go through my stash a little bit differently. Like, so for example, if I found Knitting for Olive yarn, I would go and look up the yarn company name on Ravelry and then see the projects, or Peer Gynt. And then I kind of, now I have like, I'm excited about certain patterns to use what I already have in the closet, where sometimes I see a pattern and I'm like, oh, I need to go buy that exact yarn. This was fun to shop my stash and have a plan for that in the future. I definitely found more whips that I think I'm never gonna finish. So I'm actually at the point where I might just frog them and start fresh, which I'm excited about. As we all go through it, our styles and choices change. I would definitely say I'm a process knitter and process maker, but I feel like recently I might be leaning toward the product a little bit more and trying to decide what I really want to make and add to my closet. I definitely don't want to have so many things in my closet. I I don't want that feeling of being overwhelmed. I want it to be kind of cohesive. So I might be leaning more towards looking at the product more, where I usually I just want to knit to knit, and I want to make the fun things. Now I think there's fun things to make that I will also reach for over and over again. There's definitely some new things on Ravelry that I am very interested in. I just watched What Marihull Made podcast, and she had just finished testing this pattern called Nest Jacket, and it's gorgeous, and Marihull did an amazing job. It is a textured, oversized shape pattern with a drop shoulder. I definitely am very intrigued by that pattern, and it looked amazing. I've mentioned this podcast before, I believe, but I have been watching Rachel H makes, and I love every sweater she chooses to make. And so recently she had finished the port sweater, so that's on my mind. Again, using stash. I think sometimes, like, I have a lot of fingering weight, but I could hold fingering weights together to make an errand so I can knit the port sweater, where I was thinking, oh, I don't have that yarn, I need to get that yarn. Well, I want to maybe be a little bit more intentional and creative and think about some combinations that are a little outside the box, so I can create the fabric using what I already have. We'll see. I'm not saying I'm not buying yarn, because I'm totally buying yarn, but I also have a lot of beautiful stuff that I can use. The other sweater that I most likely would cast on really quickly is, oh no, I wonder if I can find it fast. It's going to be using Pure Gint, because I have Pure Gint. I do like Sandnes yarn a lot, and I also like that I can knit and not alternate skeins or things like that. Oh, this is it, the Louvre Sweater. I adore it. I tend to wear the Finest Kind or wintering sweater on most of my dog walks, or if I'm cold in the morning, I throw it on over my jammy pants, things like that. And so I feel like this is very similar to that. And I have a charcoal color Pure Gint that I would wear all the time, I think. And so I'm excited for that. I think that will be a quick cast on. As far as sewing goes, I just recently got the sewing machine back on. I do have an IKEA desk right there, the little desks, and I have my sewing machine on it, so I do feel lucky that it's always out, mostly if we need to mend something. But I hadn't sewn all December pretty much, and now we're halfway through January already. But Gudrun Johnston inspired me to try the Cedar Pants by Layla Makes. I did make her topo pants, and while I love them, I think the fabric's a little stiff, so they're not super comfy. Not a pattern fault, more of, you know, picking the right materials for the project. But I also, the topo pants do cinch in at the bottom, and I'm not sure if I like that. So I'm trying the Cedar Pants. One, because I also am not sure I love elastic in the front of my waist. So this is a zipper fly with elastic in the back, which I love because I tend to, as the day goes on, my belly gets more bloated. So an elastic back sounds awesome as the day goes on. So it's not squeezing my tummy so much, but tape. But I am pretty excited about these. This fabric is super nice. It's a twill from Ewe Fibers. I will link the exact twill down below. They have beautiful colors. I have actually 2 other shades of brown. High hopes of making a pair for Donnie, but I'll probably just make another one for me. But I finished both of the front panels with this awesome top stitching. So it has like a double leg and then the fun pockets. My plan today is to finish the pockets on the back, and that's all. So we'll see how that goes. But these should be great. I'm excited for these. I think I will wear these a lot also because it's a better fabric choice. Ideally, I would like the Cedar Pants in a denim, but these are fun. Look, it would look so good with this Riggies Vest. So kind of again thinking of how all these things I'm currently making, how they could go together. But I'm excited about these. The other thing that's in my sewing plan is if we are so fortunate to have a new baby being born into the family in April, a little boy. And so I found this cute pattern on Etsy with fabric bundles. So this is gonna be the fabric I use for this cutie. And I did cut out all the fabric already. The store that I'll list below that has these bundles also offers actually pre-cuts. So cut all the pieces already, which is quite amazing. I just chose to purchase the fabric bundle and the quilt pattern, and I cut them myself. So these are all cut already. They're in a pile over there, ready to be sewn together, but this is really, really cute. And I love the name Superstar. So we'll make the baby quilt, which will be about 36 by 36. It's an Arizona baby, so they don't need anything too heavy, more of just probably a floor mat style quilt. That's, I think, all the makes for now that I'll talk about. I have been reading Mexican Gothic. I have a Amazon ordered, it's a book stand. So I will make sure I link that, and it really makes it easy if you're doing garter stitch to read and knit. And then when I walk moose, I've been trying to be in quiet more. So oftentimes I would like put an earbud in and just listen to listen. I'm trying to have a little bit more space to ponder and be quiet. And but if I am walking moose and listening to a book, the book I'm listening to is My Friends. And I've loved it. Same author as A Man Named Ove. I loved that book, and this one is really, really good and fun as well. Just about different generations hanging out together, and all centered around a love for art, and it's just really good. I really enjoy it. But that's, I think, all I have for today. I hope I can get in the flow and get these more frequent because I miss you guys and it's always fun to chat. I really, really hope you have a wonderful start to 2026. A lot of things are always unknown. My kids listen to and watch YouTube golf, and one of the people's sayings there is, have a day. And so I always think of have a year because we just don't know. But I love being here, love chatting with you guys. I'm gonna get sewing and hopefully have a good one. See ya.